Hey, what is going on, everybody? So Apple has recently released iOS 14.2, and this is a pretty major update. So there's a lot of things to talk about, and then we will discuss iPadOS 14.2 as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it here. Alright, so the first thing here is we have over 100 new emojis. So I'm not quite sure exactly which ones are new. I mean, I can tell, kind of which ones are new. But yeah, you just got to look through here yourself. Apple says includes animals, food, faces, household objects, musical instruments, gender inclusive ones, and many more. When I'm looking through here, I do see a few of them that I haven't seen before, but like I said, there's thousands of emojis anyway, so yeah, there's plenty of new emojis, plenty here. I mean, they just about cover everything now, it seems like. So yeah, 100 plus new emojis here in iOS 14.2. There are also 8 new wallpapers, and this is one of them. I really like this picture here. It's kind of like an artistic, it's kind of like somebody took a picture of something and then did this to it. I don't know how to really explain it, but yeah, really cool looking design here. We can go into our settings, we can go to wallpaper, choose a wallpaper, you go into the stills, and you can scroll down just a little bit and you see the 8 new wallpapers here. So we have some new landscapes. So there's the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth, and then you have these kind of like drawing ones here. It's the current one I have on my lock screen. And we got that one, this one, and last but not least, this one. And all of these do have the dark appearance as well, so you can see how they're divided there. So these are light and dark wallpapers, which is pretty cool. So yeah, 8 new wallpapers here in iOS. We still don't see any of the new ones that are on the new iPhone 12s, but yeah, we have 8 new wallpapers here, so it's nice to finally get some of those. So the next thing here has to do with the magnifier. So magnifier can be found in your accessibility settings, and if you toggle this on and off, it lets your device camera magnify your surroundings. Now this feature isn't new, of course. So what is new here is if you have a 12 Pro or a 12 Pro Max, you can now use the new Lidar sensor in those phones to detect people nearby and report their distance. So I'm not quite sure what that would be useful for, but you can now do that here if you have a new 12 Pro with the Lidar sensor. Also in 14.2, we now have the ability to use the new leather sleeve case thing. This thing's just bizarre in my opinion, but whatever. But anyways, if you have a new 12 or 12 Pro and you want to use the new $129 leather case, well, you can now do that. So basically what it's support for is when your phone's closed, you can see that it shows your time preview right there. So yeah, if you want to get this new case, you can now use it. Next up, we now have optimized battery charging for AirPods. So if you have any AirPods, now they will use the optimized charging feature, which has been available on the iPhones, and the Apple Watch just got it with watchOS 7, but now you can do it with your AirPods. So basically it will learn your charging habits, and instead of charging your AirPods up fully, it will prevent them from charging fully in order to save your battery from degrading over time. So yeah, it's just a smart charging feature coming to your AirPods now. Speaking of AirPods or headphones, there is also a new Headphone Safety section in your settings. So if you go into your settings and you go to Sounds and Haptics, you can see right here that there is a headphone audio section and it says Headphone Safety. So if you tap on that, you will now get headphone notifications, and also you can reduce loud sounds. So basically what this does is if you toggle this on like this, it will start to keep a track of how many headphone notifications you actually get. So to protect your hearing, your iPhone will measure your audio levels, and if it exceeds the recommended 7-day limit, a notification will be sent to you and your volume will be turned down. So basically, if you have your headphones up too loud, it will let you know. But yeah, that is now in here. And then also you can do the reduce loud sounds, and you can set the decibels that you want it to do. So your phone will be able to analyze your headphones audio and reduce any sound that is set over your desired decibel level. So yeah, to protect your hearing, there's a lot of people that use headphones or Airpods and they turn them up quite loud. So this will prevent that for you if you want to turn them on. There is an entirely new set of Airplay Controls. So if you pull down here on your control center, you can kind of see it right away. A little bit different font here and the Airplay logo. If we hold down on this, it opens up the new Airplay Control Center. So definitely a different design here. And then I don't have any other speakers that are on right now, but if you did, they would appear down here. You can touch your little Airplay logo, and this is where you would choose your AirPods or anything like that. And it also has some new animations, so if you did have other speakers appearing, you would actually see which one is playing. It kind of reminds me of how it looks on the Apple TV. But yeah, brand new Airplay Control Center up there for you in 14.2. We now have intercom support here for the iPhone using the HomePod Mini or the regular HomePod. The HomePod Mini was available for pre-order the other day, so they obviously need to get this implemented into the software, but now you can use the intercom feature if you have your phone, your iPad, your watch, AirPods, or even Apple CarPlay. So yeah, new intercom feature can now be used even if you have just a normal HomePod. Speaking of the HomePod, you can also connect it to the Apple TV 4K for stereo surround sound or Dolby Atmos audio. And then the final feature here is actually the option to provide statistics about exposure notifications without identifying you to participating health authorities. So that new exposure notifications, you can basically provide a little more information about yourself or your device, whatever, to the local health authorities if you have that stuff on. Now that's pretty much it for feature-wise. So let's talk about all the bug fixes and things here. So the first thing is your apps could actually have been out of order in the home screen dock. So that has now been resolved. The next thing here is your camera viewfinder could have just appeared black whenever you open the camera. So that should be fixed now. The keyboard on your lock screen, so if you're using a numerical passcode, this wasn't affecting you, but if you're actually using a passcode that's made up of letters, of course, then you may have had an issue where touching the keyboard on the lock screen could have caused touches to not be recognized. Next up, reminders could default to a time that had already happened. So that's been fixed. Your weather widget, so if you have that on your home screen or over here in your widget section, well, that could actually be displaying your temperature in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. So if you had it set to Fahrenheit, you might actually be seeing a Celsius temperature. Another thing to do with the weather is when you're actually in there, they have that new hourly precipitation in there, so that could actually incorrectly indicate when the precipitation was going to stop. Voice memos had an issue where when you got an incoming call, your voice memo would stop recording, so that is not going to happen anymore. For some reason with Netflix, if you were trying to watch Netflix, your screen may just be black when you were trying to watch it, so that shouldn't happen. If you ask Siri to send Apple Cash, well, sometimes she just simply wouldn't do it, so that should work now. The Apple Watch app was having some problems where it would crash on open, so that ain't gonna happen anymore. Also, the Apple Watch was having an issue where if you were doing a workout, it would not actually sync your GPS data and the health data to your phone. If you use Apple CarPlay and you were getting a not playing in your dashboard, even though there was audio playing, well, that should be fixed now. Some devices were prevented from actually wirelessly charging, so if you were having that problem, well, that's not going to happen anymore. And finally, another thing to do with the exposure notifications, they could be disabled when you are restoring your iCloud backup or transferring your data to another iPhone. So basically, exposure notifications were not being backed up or syncing So those should be doing it no problem now. Okay, so real quickly, let's just talk about iPadOS 14. Not a ton of new things. I mean, they're basically the same software. There's just a few iPad-specific things that were addressed here. So first off, the Magnifier setting, which I talked about in iOS 14.2. Well, if you have the iPad Pro 12.9-inch, 4th generation, or the iPad Pro 11-inch, 2nd generation with the Lidar sensor, then you can use the Magnifier obviously to detect people nearby and report their distance. On the new iPad Air 4th generation, there is now scene detection in the camera, which will use intelligent image recognition to identify objects within a scene and automatically improves the photo that is taken. So that's the new iPad Air 4th gen. And then one more thing on the 4th gen iPad Air is the auto frames per second in camera automatically reduces the frame rate when recording video to improve low light capture and optimize the file size. Well, yeah guys, other than that, that's everything new here in iOS and iPadOS 14.2. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of these new features, or were you having any of those bugs that have now been resolved? But anyways guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching as always. Be sure to click that subscribe button, and I'll catch you all in the next video.